Hey everyone! This is a quick reminder to subscribe and hit that like button. It lets me know that you are enjoying my content. Also, feel free to drop your suggestions for future stories in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and let's dive right in. I think my days start the same way they do for everyone else. Wake up, grab my phone, scroll mindlessly for a while before getting out of bed. Just a normal morning routine. That's why, when this all started, I didn't think twice about it. I woke up at 6:30 a.m., the same time I always do. My body has an internal alarm at this point, so I don't even need an actual one. I reached over, grabbed my phone from the nightstand, and immediately opened up social media. Nothing unusual, just the usual mix of updates, memes, and pointless drama. 5 minutes on TikTok, then I switched to YouTube, scanning for anything interesting. I saved some videos to watch later on my lunch break. Then I saw it. An email. Not exactly shocking. I get plenty of junk emails every day, promotions, newsletters, stuff I never signed up for. But this one was different. It had no notification. I hadn't heard the usual ding, and there was no preview text in my notifications bar. Just the bold subject line. Important. Open the moment you see it. I squinted at it, already on edge. I'm 25 years old. I know better than to click on random emails with dramatic subject lines. Probably a scam, some phishing attempt. My instinct was to delete it immediately. I swiped my finger across the screen. Or I thought I did. Somehow, instead of swiping to delete, I swiped to open. The email loaded instantly. No sender name, no information, just a single attachment, a picture. That's when everything changed. I stared at it. Too long. My brain, my entire mind felt like it short-circuited. The colors, I had never seen colors like that before. They didn't belong. Not on a screen, not in reality, not anywhere. The shapes, they twisted, folded into themselves in ways that shouldn't be possible. I felt mesmerized, terrified, like my mind wasn't meant to process what I was seeing. My breathing hitched, my hands felt cold, my stomach twisted in knots. I locked my phone, shoving it away like it had burned me. Heart pounding. I had no words for what I had just seen, but I knew, deep down, it was wrong. Then my phone lit up again. A red screen. White letters. Emergency alert. Do not open the email. Too late. I felt lightheaded. My entire body tensed as I unlocked my phone again. The picture was still there, frozen on my screen. I slammed Gmail shut. My hands were shaking now. This wasn't just some scam. Something was very, very wrong. I needed answers. I opened up my browser, searched for anything about the alert. The first news article loaded painfully slow, and when it finally appeared, my stomach dropped. Worldwide attack. Do not open the email. Strange image causes psychological breakdowns. The article confirmed it. I wasn't alone. People all over the world had received the same email. The same title, the same image. The email contains a picture with unusual colors and distorted shapes that affect the human brain in unpredictable ways. Many who have viewed the image experience extreme paranoia, confusion, and mental instability. Several victims claim the world has become a loop. That time is repeating. They insist this has happened before, again and again. I froze. My mind raced back to the image. Those impossible colors, the impossible shapes, a dull ringing filled my ears. My vision blurred. I shook my head, forcing myself to breathe. I had already wasted too much time on this. If this was going to make me crazy, I needed to be somewhere safe, somewhere people could help me. So I did what I always do. I got up, got dressed, and I went to work. The cold air hit my face as I stepped outside, coffee in one hand, my phone in the other. I was still rattled. The email, the picture, the emergency alert. I tried to push it to the back of my mind. I told myself it was just some elaborate hoax, some internet virus or psychological experiment gone wrong. People were freaking out, and I refused to be one of them. The walk to my office felt longer than usual. The streets were the same, the people were the same. Yet, something felt off. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was my own paranoia trying to convince me that something had changed when it hadn't. I arrived at my building, stepping into the familiar warmth of the lobby. The scent of coffee and printer ink filled the air, and for a second I felt normal again. I liked my job. It was a small print-on-demand company. Just a few of us working together. It felt more like family than an office. As I reached my desk, I glanced over at the one next to mine. Linda's desk. Empty. I frowned. That wasn't normal. Linda was never late. ever. I set down my coffee and pulled out my phone, scrolling through my messages. No text, no missed calls. Maybe she was just running behind? Still, something about it nagged at me. I clicked on her name and hit call. The line rang and rang, no answer. By the time my other coworkers started filtering in, they noticed it too. "Where's Linda?" someone asked, setting their bag down. I shrugged, trying to keep my voice casual. "I don't know, she's not answering her phone." A few of them exchanged glances, concern flickering in their expressions. I promised myself I'd give her an hour before I really started worrying. And then, just as I sat down, the door flew open. Linda burst into the office, wild eyes, disheveled hair, breathing ragged and shallow. The entire office fell silent. She ran straight to me. "Liv? Tell me you know? Tell me you saw it." I stiffened. Linda's hands were shaking. Her face was pale, eyes bloodshot like she hadn't slept in days. Sweat clung to her forehead. I didn't need to ask what she meant. I already knew. The email. She had seen it too. "Linda," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "You need to calm down." She gripped my arms, tight. "Tell me you know," she pleaded, her voice on the verge of breaking. I tried to pull away, but she didn't let go. I'd never seen her like this. Linda was rational, smart, collected. She didn't freak out over anything. But now she was unraveling right in front of me. Tears spilled down her face. "You have to listen to me," she sobbed. "You don't understand, Liv. It's already happening." People were staring, whispering. Our boss stepped in. "Linda, I think you need to go home," she said firmly. Linda whipped around, eyes blazing. "You will all soon know," she shouted. Her voice echoed through the office. "You will know that I'm not the crazy one." Then just like that, she turned and walked out. No fight, no resistance, just left. The room was dead silent. I felt numb. I had just lost my best friend. Because I knew what happened next. She was gone. She had gone crazy. I didn't even realize I was crying until my boss placed a hand on my shoulder. "Olivia," she said gently, "you should go home too." I swallowed the lump in my throat, nodded. I didn't argue. I just grabbed my things and walked out the door. By the time I reached my apartment, my hands were still shaking, and then I saw her. Linda, crouched by my door, tears in her eyes. I stopped, my breath caught in my throat. She looked up at me. "Liv," she whispered. I ran to her. I pulled her up, gripping her shoulders. Her body trembled. I unlocked the door and pulled her inside. Her first words, "Did you see the picture?" I turned to her. "I did, Linda. This morning." Her eyes lit up, and for the first time she smiled, not relief, not fear. Something else, something I couldn't name. She hugged me. "You will soon understand," she whispered. "You will." I cooked dinner. We ate, and she didn't mention the email again. She was back to her normal self. She left and I went to sleep, like nothing had happened that day. I woke up feeling off. For a few seconds I couldn't figure out why. Then it hit me. Linda. Yesterday, the breakdown at work. The email. I sat up and reached for my phone, my heart already racing. Social media, I scrolled, my stomach dropped. The same posts, every single one. The same pictures, the same captions, the same meme my cousin had posted about her cat knocking over a cup of water. That wasn't possible. My feed was always different. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they never show you the exact same thing twice. I backed out and opened TikTok. Same videos. My For You page was identical to yesterday's. I swallowed hard and clicked on YouTube, the same recommended videos. Nothing new. I felt a chill creep up my spine. What the hell was going on? Then I saw it, an email, the same one. Important. Open the moment you see it. I dropped my phone. My entire body went cold. This wasn't possible. My phone buzzed. I looked down. Emergency alert. Do not open the email. Again, my breath hitched. I shoved my phone under my pillow and got up. I wasn't dealing with this right now. I got ready for work like I always did. Brushed my teeth, tied my hair up, got dressed. Maybe I was just paranoid. Maybe the alert had come in 2 days in a row and people were freaking out. I stepped outside, coffee in hand. The city was the same. Normal. Cars, people, nothing felt out of place. I walked into the office, expecting, I don't even know what. Linda wouldn't be here today. She had to be recovering from yesterday. I took a sip of my coffee, adjusting my bag on my shoulder. And then, Linda's still not here? I turned. One of my coworkers had just walked in, setting their bag down. The exact same words as yesterday. I felt a chill run down my spine. Then another voice. "Liv, did you try calling her?" The same question. My hands gripped my coffee cup so tightly I thought it might crack. I turned in my chair and looked around. Everyone was in the same spots, saying the same things, even their clothes. My heart skipped a beat. They were wearing the same outfits as yesterday. No, no, no. This wasn't real. I reached for my mouse, clicking my computer awake. The date flashed on the screen. Yesterday's date. My lungs froze. This wasn't paranoia. It was real. I staggered back from my desk, knocking my coffee over in the process. The hot liquid spilled across my keyboard. The door opened. My head snapped up. Linda, bloodshot eyes, same frantic expression. But this time, she walked in normally. The office murmured. Someone made a joke about her being late. She ignored them. She walked straight to me. She stopped right in front of my desk. Our eyes met. She smirked. Weird, huh? I nodded. She knew. She remembered. But them, they had no idea. My hands were shaking. I grabbed her wrist and pulled her outside. The moment we were on the street, just outside of the office, I turned to her. What the hell is going on? Linda's smirk faded. Her face turned serious. Every day, there are more and more of us, she said. I stared at her. More of what? She looked me dead in the eye. People who remember. A shiver ran down my spine. The time, it's broken, Liv. It resets every day. It doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. If the day started with you waking up, then that's how it will start. Every damn time. I felt my head spinning. That's impossible. Linda just laughed. Look around. I shook my head. This couldn't be real. Maybe people are just confused. The alert's coming 2 days in a row. Maybe it's messing with people's heads. Linda's expression darkened. She took a step closer, and in a quiet, steady voice she said, "The date, Liv." My mouth went dry. I had no response, because I knew she was right. And then, Linda took a step back, right into the street. A horn blared. A car slammed into her. Her body was thrown through the air. The impact was brutal. I screamed. People rushed out of the office. Blood pooled on the pavement. Linda's body lay twisted, broken. Her arm, almost ripped off. She was gone. There was no surviving that. I don't remember much after that. The sirens, the police, the paramedics, the questions. Giving a statement about how she just did that. My boss telling me to go home. I did. And that night, I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I woke up. My first thought was Linda. My second? How was I going to get through today? I sat up, rubbing my eyes, feeling like absolute garbage. And then, I realized something. My face. My eyes weren't puffy. I had cried myself to sleep, and yet, no redness. No headache, no evidence. A sick feeling crawled into my stomach. I stood up and walked to the mirror. I looked normal, like yesterday never happened. The doorbell rang. I turned, my body stiff. I walked to the door. I opened it, and there she was. Linda, perfectly fine, standing alive, no bruises, no blood, just standing there. She met my eyes, no greeting, no small talk. She simply said, "Do you believe me now?" I stood frozen in the doorway. Linda was alive. She was supposed to be dead. Her body had been shattered, torn apart by that car. I had seen it. I had held her bloodied hand. But here she was, breathing, blinking, looking at me like nothing had happened. She tilted her head slightly. "Do you believe me now?" I couldn't speak. My mouth had gone dry. I stepped aside, wordlessly letting her in. She walked past me, calm, casual, like she belonged here. I locked the door behind us, and then I turned. "Linda." My voice was barely above a whisper. "I watched you die." She plopped onto my couch, stretching her arms. "Yep, you did." I felt a cold chill race down my spine. I pressed my hands to my temples, trying to force my brain to make sense of this. "This is real, Liv." Linda leaned forward, watching me. "I know it doesn't make sense. I know you don't want to believe it, but you already know I'm telling the truth." She wasn't wrong. Deep down, I knew. The repeated day. The same conversations, the same email, the same alert, the exact same sequence of events down to the smallest detail. I sank into the chair across from her. I didn't even realize I was shaking until I tried to grab my coffee mug from the table and nearly spilled it. "How long?" I croaked. Linda smirked, like she had been waiting for me to ask that. "I've been aware for about a month," she said. "But there are others. People who have been in this for 6 months or more." My stomach twisted. 6 months. People had been stuck in this loop for 6 months. I forced myself to take a breath. "So what? This is some kind of glitch?" I asked. "A time loop?" Linda sighed, shaking her head. "It's an experiment," she said. "Gone horribly, horribly wrong." I just stared at her. She leaned forward, elbows on her knees. The government was trying to do something. We don't know what exactly, but whatever it was, they screwed it up. Now, instead of whatever they were aiming for, we're all stuck in this loop. I swallowed hard. And the people who aren't aware? She exhaled sharply. They reset completely. It's like they're living a scripted life. They say the same things, do the same things exactly the same way. But the ones like us? She pointed at me. We remember. I ran a hand through my hair. How do you even know all this? Linda leaned back, crossing her arms. There's a whole group of us trying to figure it out, she said. We've been gathering information, piecing things together, but it's hard. We can't write anything down, can't take notes. I frowned. Why not? Linda gave me a pointed look. Because when the day resets, so does everything else. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My phone, my computer, everything in the world resets. The only thing that stays the same is our memories. The realization made my stomach churn. Wait, I looked at her. You came to work yesterday, you tried to tell me about this. Linda's smirk returned. Yep, for 2 weeks. Every single day I showed up, tried to get you to see the truth. You never believed me. A slow wave of nausea built in my gut. I never believed her. For 2 weeks, she had been trapped alone in this nightmare. I swallowed hard. How did you wake up? The first time? Linda's smile faded slightly. The email, she said, just like you. I exhaled. So that's what triggers it? She nodded. Yeah, but you have to look at the picture. My fingers clenched involuntarily. That picture. Those impossible colors. Those horrible, twisting shapes. That thing isn't normal, I muttered. Linda shook her head. Nope, and I don't think it was supposed to be sent out like that. I think it was meant to be contained. A test, maybe? I don't know, but someone, or something, let it loose. I felt like I was spiraling. Why me? I whispered. Why you? Linda shrugged. That's the million-dollar question. We don't know if the email is random or targeted, but one thing's for sure. The government knows. And they're trying to fix it. I let out a bitter laugh. Yeah? I said. Because they're doing such a great job, Linda smirked. Took you long enough to start hating them. I let out a long breath, rubbing my temples. Okay, I said finally. So, what do we do now? Linda's grin widened. She leaned back, stretching her arms over her head. We have 24 hours, she said. She grabbed my coffee mug and took a sip. I say, we do whatever the hell we want. That first day, the first real day I spent knowing the truth, I tried to keep things normal. I really did. I woke up, got dressed, had my coffee. I even considered going to work. But then I remembered what Linda said. We have 24 hours. I say we do whatever the hell we want. And that's exactly what we did. We started small. Dine and dash, a free breakfast at a fancy hotel, walking out before the check came. Then shoplifting. At first, I hesitated, grabbing things like candy bars, cheap sunglasses, a couple of energy drinks. Linda, on the other hand, was stuffing bottles of vodka and high-end perfume into her bag like it was nothing. Liv, stop being shy. She laughed. The world resets tomorrow. None of this matters. And she was right. We could do anything. The thought sank in slowly, creeping into my mind like a virus. We stole a car next. Linda hotwired it. She'd learned over weeks of resets. I sat in the passenger seat, still stunned. She sped through red lights, tore down empty streets at 90 miles an hour. I screamed. She laughed. For the first time in forever, I felt alive. We crashed the car into a telephone pole. Didn't even flinch. Just got out and walked away. People stared. Some gasped. Some ran to call the cops. We didn't care. The moment the sun rose again, it would be like it never happened. Then the drinking started. I had never been a heavy drinker, but now, why not? We drank in the streets, stole more alcohol, stumbled through the city, laughing. We weren't alone either. The more we talked to people, the more we found others who remembered. Some had been aware for months, some had just woken up, and some had gone completely insane. There were people who didn't care about anything anymore. They burned buildings, fought cops in the middle of the street. It was anarchy, pure, mindless chaos, and it was spreading. Every day, more people woke up. Every day, the world slipped further and further into madness. I lost count of how many times I died. Linda and I jumped from rooftops just to feel the rush. The 10 seconds before we hit the pavement, they were the best moments of my life. That short burst of weightlessness, the way the wind roared past my ears, pure, raw, unfiltered freedom. The impact never hurt. Not really, because the next morning, I always woke up in my bed. Completely fine. like nothing had ever happened. And then one night, I asked Linda to kill me, just for the hell of it. I wanted to feel something different. She slit my throat with a kitchen knife. I gurgled, choked, felt the warmth of my own blood spilling over my hands. I collapsed onto the floor, staring up at her. She smiled, and then the world faded to black. The next morning, I woke up good as new. No scar, no pain, it didn't even feel real anymore. I lost track of how many times we killed each other. At first, Linda humored me. Then, after the 9th time, she sighed and said, "This is getting old." She stopped playing along, so I found my own ways, stepping in front of buses, drowning myself in bathtubs, brinking cleaning supplies, anything to feel something. But it was never enough, because no matter what I did, I always woke up right back where I started. Eventually, I gave up. Now, I just rob the liquor store every day. It's not even robbing anymore, because the guy who works there, he remembers too. He just lets me take whatever I want. What does it matter? Tomorrow, the shelves will be stocked again. The cash register will be full. Nothing stays broken. The people who still don't know, they look at us like we're crazy. Maybe we are. But at least we remember. At least we know the truth. And as for the government, they aren't fixing a damn thing. Maybe they aren't even trying anymore. Maybe this is forever. And if it is, then why the hell should I care? Tonight, Linda is waiting for me on the rooftop. She knows what I'm thinking. She knows how much I love that 10-second drop. So we will jump together one more time. And tomorrow, we'll do it all over again.